Ready to roll. All right, we'll call the meeting, the Board of Adjustment, Winterville Board of Adjustment to order, May 16th, 2023, 7 p.m. So first of all, we need to check the minutes, get the minutes adopted. Is that correct?
Due to my outage, we're still working on the minutes to get them caught
Okay,
up.
all right, perfect. So we'll move on to the agenda, get an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Killian, Mr. Phillips, second, and all in favor? Aye. Approval of the agenda. So with that, we'll move right on to new business. We have 559 Tabard Road, special use permit application for a home occupation customary use hair salon. So with that, I'll turn it over to Stephen at this point.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Board. So the town of Winterville has received a home occupation customary special use permit for 559 Tabard Road. We received the application from the homeowner, the property owner. Again, this is 559 Tabard Road, located in the Canterbury subdivision. It's a 0.28 acre site with a R10 zoning district. This gives you an idea of where it's located. Again, it's always kind of hard to see on this screen, but off of Tabard Road, this is Old Tar Road going north to south. The applicant has submitted an application for the wish to use her property for a hair salon. The clients would come in one at a time during the business hours of 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday through Friday. They would park in her driveway as required by the zoning ordinance as well. The clients would be at her house, as she stated on the application, roughly 45 minutes to 2 hours each. As required by the zoning ordinance, no more than 25% of the floor area of the home will be used for this home occupation. And as required by the State Board of Cosmetic Arts, an outside door into the salon would be required. So she's planning on installing this door on the front porch, but not to create a commercial-looking facade. Home occupation customary is permitted as a special use within the R10 zoning district. It has a special requirement, number 6, that it must abide by. Special requirement number 6 goes over some of the home occupations that you may see, such as dressmaking, cooking and baking, hairdressing, music instruments, or instructions, and other professional and similar activities. Luckily with this one, you've got hairdresser right in the title, so we don't have to see if it's in spirit with the category of use. Within special requirement number 6, only one other person than the person who resides in the house engaging in the occupation can engage in that occupation as well. The use of the dwelling unit, it has to be clearly incidental and subordinate to the residential purpose of the house. Again, no more than 25% of the floor area of the dwelling can be used for the home occupation. There shall be no changes to the exterior appearance of the building or the premises, although it does allow one non-illuminated sign that does not exceed 4 square feet, if the applicant so wishes. No traffic shall be generated at this home occupation in greater volumes than is expected in a residential neighborhood. Parking shall be in an area not within the front yard setback. For this, a beauty salon within the zoning compliance requires at least 3 off-street parking spaces. I did look at the aerial of the property. She's got a fairly large driveway that would support a minimum of 3 vehicles. Lastly, no equipment or process that creates noise, vibration, glare, fumes, odors, electrical interference can exist within this use. In addition, cannot create visual or audible interference with radio or television receivers or off-premise voltage line fluctuations. Staff's recommendation is to review the proposed use against special requirement number 6 and the special requirement findings and facts to determine if this is an appropriate use at this location. A Board of Adjustment hearing sign was placed on the subject's property on May 2nd. 2 legal ads were placed in the Daily Reflector to advertise the hearing on May 3rd and May 10th. And adjacent property owners and those within 100 foot were notified by mail on May 2nd, all requirements of North Carolina state statute. That's really all staff has right now. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to address. Thank you.
With that, we'll open up the public hearing. Or we,
One of the things I was just looking for was,
yeah.
one that's up here.
Here it is. Yeah.
If you would assist me with the Bible,
Yep.
anybody that's going to speak with testimony, might please come in.
Yep.
So, if you're okay,
Go for it, yeah.
okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Anybody else wishing to speak tonight? No? Okay, all right. If you put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And thank you for finding the Bible. I know there's always one in here.
All right, perfect.
Not that you need it.
I might.
So, now that we have that done, are there any questions from the board?
No, I think we're good on that, so.
You want to open the public hearing?
Yep. I did, actually. We're good, right?
You are.
Yeah, okay, good, okay. All right. So if you would state whether you're for or against, and there's only one person, so if you'll just state whether you're for or against, and then your name, and then kind of go through any information you want to share with the board. Okay. Yep, yep.
Okay, I am for it.
Okay.
It is important to me to keep up the integrity of the neighborhood. I don't even want to put a sign in the yard. I want to just put an identifying small marker like a garden flag or something. I just kind of want to work from home. I have this space. Just other than, and I've been in the industry for 30 years. I have an established clientele. It's just salt of the earth people who, your sister and your mom that wants to come. And I'll be seeing them for a couple hours each, probably 3 to 4 people a day for 2 hours apiece. So there won't be a whole lot of traffic coming through. And thank you so much. You did most of the work for me, I had written down. And I am using a portion of my house that is less than 25% of the house. Is there anything else I should add right now? or
I
do
think
you
there was
want
a
to go ahead
question.
and-
Mr. Phillips had a question.
Okay.
If that's okay?
Yes.
And then the other question I had was, is the state board going to be involved? I noticed that was on the application.
Yes, State Board will have to come in and inspect.
Okay.
Excuse me. And they're looking for things like the spacing of the chair and how many people are working in there, which it would just be me.
Okay.
I'm just looking to work from home. And like the door to the outside, and that is not access through the house. They want the people to come straight into the salon or into the designated area for the salon. So. I would like to put another door, and I have a real long, wide front porch, and so there'll be the front door up there, and I'd like to put a door into the area that looks more like a window. So it's almost like you can't even, from the street view, it doesn't even look like an entrance. If it would just look like a window, that would be perfect, So you would access it from the front porch.
Any other questions? Yep, sure.
The front, I'm sorry, the front, yeah.
Yeah, I guess one of my questions, and you mentioned it would be just you. How many chairs are you planning to have in the home or in the salon?
Right. Well, I thought that I would try to put in two for maybe future reference, but I only plan on being the one to, working in there. Because it would have to be a perfect situation to let somebody else come into my home and work. I just don't even see an ideal where that would work out. So I would just keep it my own. However, I would put two chairs in there, because once you get it approved by the State Board of Cosmetology, you cannot go, you can't go back. I mean, you can have it amended, but you would have to have it amended to have a second chair put in there. So I'm going to start with the two chairs, and I'm only going to work for now. But in the future, if an ideal situation falls in my lap, then I could potentially have somebody come in.
So clarification, Keen, on the condition where it says only one person other than those residing in the home shall be engaged in the occupation. Would that be, in her situation that she's talking about, would that be she resides in the home but also works, and then one other person could work there, or is that saying that?
That's always been my interpretation of it.
Right. Yes, those were the conditions in the town. I brought it up. Right. Okay. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I do think probably, and I don't know what you guys think, maybe that would be a condition there, because,
I mean, he mentioned 3 or 4 conditions.
yes, yeah, I'm asking specifically about the SR6, the only one person.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was put in here would be one at a time from a client standpoint, what she placed in there. Yeah. Yeah, one customer at a time. Right, yeah.
Yes, and I would not have employees. I would have, if I were to have another, it would be a booth renter, yes. Mhm.
That's something you all decide. I'm just asking questions now and not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. We'll close the public hearing at this point. Yeah. Yeah. Again, we'll ask it again. Anyone else in favor of this or anyone opposed to the special use permit? Okay. And Stephen, did we get any feedback, phone or text or email or anything otherwise on that?
That's a great question. I meant to actually mention that while I was up here. We did receive one phone call, and they said, I just see this sign in our neighborhood. What is it about? And I said, it's a home occupation for a hairdresser. And they said, oh, okay. And that's literally the feedback I got from that. So they were not for or against it.
Perfect.
They just wanted to know what the sign represented.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that, we'll close the public hearing, and thank
Thank
you.
you.
Ms. Joyce, thank you. Sorry, I was looking for your name, couldn't find it. All right, so I guess just to discuss a little bit, we have a little bit of discussion we probably need to go through. And then we'll come back and run through the conditions. Is that right? Okay. Any other questions for Stephen or Keen, you guys? Okay.
I do have one question.
Okay.
Does she have to maintain her cosmetic license in order for the special use permit to be valid, or would that be a condition?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Okay.
And Mr. Killen, you had another question about, is it the residence, right? You were asking the question, is it residence or is it a permit to her? Like if she was to sell the residence with the permit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a question.
Exactly what he and I were talking about
Yeah.
today.
Thanks for
That
reminding
was a
me.
good question,
Yeah.
actually.
To be quite honest with you, I think this is the first, home occupation, that I was involved in. I'm not sure about
Bakery was the last one I remember, and dog grooming. Those are the only two I've seen.
I like this, and I'm always grateful, and I'll tell you, if I'm 100 this year, I'm not 100. I think that, in my mind, the life is converted.
That's what I
Let's say they lived there for 5 years, and decide to move. I moved in behind them. I don't think I could come in and say, I'm in that place here. Under her license, I think.
At that location.
At that location.
Right.
Right, if she moves to another place, like in
Okay.
Winterville.
Right.
I think this is,
So I guess we'll start with conditions. We talked about conditions. Do we want to add the conditions? I'm kind of in favor of where Keene was headed with the conditions that she laid down for herself.
Yeah, can we just outline those real quick?
Yeah, I think, clients think one at a time to do their hair, right? That's condition one, so, right? Hours, 9 to 7, Tuesday through Friday. And I think the driveway definitely probably is what we want to add in there as well, because that's just allowable. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a condition, correct, Keene? Yeah. Right. Okay. All right.
Are you okay with that, no off-street parking? Okay.
Percent. Okay, yeah, and I think we're good with that one too. You guys all in favor? I guess the question would be for Ms. Joyce, if you wouldn't mind stepping back up. Do I need to open the hearing back up? Okay. So the question we would have, or at least I would have, would be regarding parking, because I think that's where maybe you would get in a situation. Would there be any issue if you were to have two people? Because you're going to have your car, partners or whoever, then you got two other cars plus two clients.
Yeah,
So-
I do have a long, thin driveway, but it takes a turn into where I park. So they would fit along the long driveway, but there would be some finagling. So, they would fit technically, but.
All right.
What if, instead of no off-street parking, if we word it, and she's in agreement in such a way that the driveway parking is preferred, but that we would allow X number of cars to park in the street?
Look, just one car on the street.
That's always been my interpretation of it. Theoretically, the homeowner, if there was ever an issue with how many vehicles she could get in the driveway, she could park on the street, but I do not think the customers themselves could park on the street.
Okay. So we don't need to make that a special condition if it's already in here?
Thank you, Ms. Joyce.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
So the other would be the no off-street parking for
Customers.
customers, correct? All right.
License?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, do I need to go through and read these tonight? All of this? Like usual? If not, I need to take a sip of water. Yeah, so we go three through?
And I sort of got us sidetracked last time. The first one is, if we look at the order now.
Right.
So if you vote on number one, you vote on number two. And number two, you vote on A, you see all those A, B, C underneath that?
Yep.
Those, you don't vote on each one of those. Those are all the special requirements.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
you vote on C, and then you vote on,
E and E, gotcha.
so there's about that, about 7
A lot to read. Okay. All right, so bear with us. So I'll run through the information here on the order for the special use permit. So we'll start on number 1, and we'll go each one of these guys. You good with that? Conditions and specifications, that the application filed as a special use permit for 559 Tabard Road meets all the required conditions and specifications of the zoning ordinance and the policies of the town for a submission of a special use permit. Motion to vote. Gillian, Mr. Phillips, all in favor? Aye. That's unanimous. All right, number 2, notice that those persons owning property adjacent to the proposed development or use as listed on the current tax records will serve notice of the public hearing by mail in accordance with the applicable requirements, and that the notice of the public hearing to consider the special use permit was published on May 3rd, 2023 and May 10th, 2023 in the Daily Reflector, a newspaper having a general circulation in the area and required by law. Get a motion to vote on that one. Mr. Gillian, Mr. Phillips, all in favor? Aye. Number 3, to hear and decide in particular cases and subject to appropriate conditions and safeguards, permits for the special uses as authorized by article in granting the special use permit, the board shall make the following affirmative findings. So I'm going to read, vote on A. So we'll go A first. The use requested is among those listed as an eligible special use in the district in which the property subject is located. Gillian, Mr. Phillips, all in favor? Aye. All right. That the special use will not materially endanger the public health or safety if located where proposed and developed according to the plan as proposed. Gillian, Mr. Phillips, all in favor? Aye.
And I'll help you here.
Okay.
The first part, right, I see the A, B, C, D, we already talked about it several
Okay.
times. Steve, and another full discussion.
Okay, perfect. And so C, that the special use meets all required conditions and specifications, SR6, home occupation customary. We're voting on A, B, C, D, E, and F of that paragraph. Motion to vote, Mr. Killian, Mr. Phillips, all in favor? Aye. All right, moving on to D, that the special use will not substantially injure the value of the adjoining or abutting property, or that this use is a public necessity. Gillian, Phillips, all in favor? Aye. And E, that the location and character of the special use, if developed according to plan as proposed, will be in harmony with the area in which it is located, in general conformity with the plan of development of the town and its environs. Gillian, Mr. Phillips, all in favor? Aye. All right, now we got to vote on the whole thing, right? Yep. Yeah, I think we do, and I don't know if we can get them read back to us with the conditions before we go through with that, as they were documented. I'm sure if he can.
I've got some notes written down on it.
Okay. You want to go ahead and make sure?
Yeah, so the first one would be only one client at a time in the facility. The second would be the hours that she asked for, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday through Friday. The third would be no off-street parking for clients. The fourth would be it occupies less than 25% of your housing structure. And the last one would be that the special use permit is tied to your, I'm not using the right lingo, cosmetic license, on it being a current and valid license. Okay, thank you.
All right. So we'll move to vote on the special use permit with the conditions that were just read.
So moved.
Gillian, Mr. Phillips seconded. All in favor? Aye. All right. So with that, that approves the special use permit. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Any reports or anything, Stephen, you got for us this evening?
No, I see you guys fairly often now, it seems.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really, you know, we're staying busy at the town. I know you guys are seeing a lot going on around town. If anybody has any questions, though, I'd be happy to answer. If you think of something, in the future, just let me know.
Blow's done yet? No, I'm just-
Yeah, bring it on.
It's coming that way.
Food line's getting scared, they're
get
having to
some.
renovate now.
Yeah. We need to get us a Home Depot, too. Even on this side of
I'd
town.
love to get a Home Depot, absolutely. Mr. Briley and I will actually be attending a Board of Adjustment, I guess they're not calling it Board of Adjustment, I think they're calling it a quasi-judicial workshop tomorrow. So anything we learn from that we'll bring to the board's light as well. But other than that, thank you guys so much for attending tonight. Really appreciate it.
Do we have anything coming up next month yet?
We don't. It's
I will
fun.
not be here, depending on the date on that one, potentially, so.
Okay. It's funny. Somebody in my office this week was asking about home occupation dog grooming. Last week, somebody was asking about home occupation, well, it's actually not home occupation in this one, but child care services. There's a portion of child care services that would fall under residential properties, but I have not received an application or even a request for an application from those. So I don't believe so, because we're getting really close to the 3-week cutoff. So at this point, I would be surprised if we did, but that doesn't mean tomorrow I don't.
So we'll
walk
get
in
an
and
email
have-
from you on Friday, won't we?
You will. You absolutely will.
It's all good.
Yes, absolutely. All right, well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Anything else? A motion to adjourn? Mr. Gilling? Phillips, seconded, all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you, Ms. Joyce.
Thank you.
Once I get the final.